how to make your marriage last, how to divorce-proof your marriage, how to make it happy, fulfilling, how to make it feel like home, how to make it feel like wherever problem you have in the world, you can come to this relationship bubble you have with your spouse and you can recharge your batteries. You can take some strength and go back into the world again. Mostly you want to have this kind of relationship with yourself because you cannot know if your partner is always in that mood to give you that energy that you need. But mostly if the relationship is good, you will kind of make it possible, right, to recharge the batteries from the relationship. So to divorce-proof your marriage, actually you can look at what causes divorce these days, especially in the Western world, and well, repair for those things, right? Like look for those things and make them not happen. So people say they divorce because of money, communication, and infidelity. So regarding money, the simplest thing you can do, the simplest, like it's simple to say it, maybe it's not easy because most of us were not financially educated. So you have to be financially literate. So know everything about budgeting, spending, and saving and investing, right? And also, so usually spenders attract savers and vice versa. So they kind of complete each other because people who save all the time and don't spend anything and just live a very frugal life, they don't have this desire to earn more, right? Because they're always saving and they're not taking pleasure from anything. And on the contrary, spenders, they always spend a lot. They all also like feel that it's never enough. And of course, people like this, when they come together, like it's just an explosion. They just simply don't work well together. But the point is, and that's why they attract each other, because they both need each other, right? So we need to spend sometimes, yes, on like frugal things and just have that massage and go to that pedicure if that's what you want. But also saving, also looking into the future, right? Knowing how to save and invest and so on. So the simplest answer is get financially literate. There's so many courses out there. I highly recommend Ramsey's course. I think it's the most famous and it's like a low price course, and you can learn everything about financing. And I cannot imagine two people who are financially literate to have fights about money. They're simply on the same page because they are educated. So education in this way saves us, right? So even if you see rich people, they might not be financially educated because who knows, like they gained the money from, I don't know, let's look at singers or actors who earned a lot of money but then spent it all, right? So, or boxers or people in sport, like they earn a lot of money, but they somehow like just blow it up, right? They don't know anything about investing and budgeting and nothing. So education is the key, like for anything, I think. Okay, number two, communication, right? So what does communication mean? Most people think it is about always saying what's on your mind, maybe complaining, and when you see problems, just speaking about them. Communication is mostly about listening to your partner, being curious, right? Like, and try to not put them in a box, not label them as my partner is this, my partner is this. He never does that. He always does that. Our brain wants to label people, so it makes it like easier when we see a person. Oh, here's Jack. Oh, he's lazy and a spender. And he's always disrespectful. If you put labels on people, that's how you will always see them. And that's how that's the part of them that they will show to you, right? So communication is not about speaking your mind always, especially if your mind is not clean, especially if you're very charged with emotions and thoughts about a person, you're not in a clean place, right? Like you want to get in a clean place, maybe talk to someone. Of course, I recommend coaching or therapy, but a friend will do, right? A friend who is not judgmental and who will not just always say, yeah, you're right. Yeah, you're right. He's disrespectful. He's lazy. He's an a-hole, right? So you don't want friends like that. You want to have friends who can show you when you are wrong, who are willing to risk the relationship in order for you to have like a global view on things, right? So they're willing to tell you you're wrong. I don't think you're right. I don't think you're right. I think this is a mistake. He's not always lazy. He's not always disrespectful. And I think you're disrespectful too. And I think you have something to do with this, right? So you want this kind of friends. And again, mostly listening, being curious about the other person will give you more in communication than anything else, than always speaking your mind. So be sure, if you want to speak your mind, come from a clean place, take a few days to reflect, to journal, to speak to someone, right? And when you are not supercharged with emotions and, I don't know, a lot of negative feelings and negative thoughts, then you can speak about, like, look, I don't know how to tell you, right? Like, I'm feeling really vulnerable. I need to, I so not like it when this happens. What can we do, right? Like, we're a team. Always look like your relationship bubble. You and your partner are like in a relationship bubble. It's always you and dealing with problems together, right? Like, not separately. This is what I don't like. This is my problem. This is your problem. Not like, this is our problem. And we can, if we're together, we can deal with any problem. Always, 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 always. So the first tip, if you're a beginner in this, right? Like, if you're a beginner in not fighting, not putting labels, not criticizing, blaming, complaining, nagging, right? Most people, this is what we do, especially in the Western world. This is what we do. We do this all day long. We read articles, but we use it against us, against ourselves, against our relationship, against our partners. So the first step is actually being super curious about the other person and actually listening. And number 3, cause of divorce, like infidelity, this is mostly due to lack of polarity. So in a great relationship, in a great marriage, we need friendship and we need attraction. We need attraction comes from polarity, from masculine, feminine energy. So you want to make sure, of course, it's not your fault if your partner has an affair, right? But it's both people's responsibility if the relationship has no polarity, right? So this is something, when people are super attracted to each other, no matter who comes from the outside and no matter what they do, they cannot break this relationship bubble that I'm speaking about. So you want to make sure there is this attraction. And of course, you can tap again into feelings, like you can create this kind of feelings for yourself to be able to have this polarity, to again, be curious, be playful. Don't take your partner for granted. I have to say it again. Don't put labels on your partner, especially negative labels. Intentionally look for the things that are good in your partner, because our brain wants to like save us from the bad, and we'll try to look only at the bad traits of people. We also have bad traits, right? We don't focus on them. We always focus on our partner. Like, he's like this, he's like this, he's like this. So you have to intentionally look for the good in your partner. So whenever you look for the good labels, right, like the good labels I was talking about, he will respond by acting according to the label. So I always say this, and I'm 100% like so behind this. How people treat you, it's a mirror of what you think about them, right? So if you try to see the good in them, they will be good to you. If you like really try hard to see the worst in them, they will show you the worst. So you cannot access somebody's best self if you are not your best self, right? And your best self doesn't judge, doesn't put negative labels. Of course, that doesn't mean you don't have boundaries. If somebody treats you bad, you will simply leave, but you won't think, oh, this person is so bad. You will just say they are having a bad day. They are human. They cannot always be quote unquote good. I'm just gonna go and mind my own business, right? But I'm just going to be my best self. I'm not responsible for other people to be their best selves, but I'm going to be my best self. So these are the main 3 things. And you can simply just start with educate yourself. Yes, like having a great relationship comes back to skills, relationship skills, right? And these are things that we can learn. Listening and being curious more than talking. And creating polarity. Remember how you were in the beginning. So I love this quote that if you in any relationship, if you act as in the beginning of the relationship will have no end. So of course, in the beginning of any relationship, we are curious, we are in awe and admiration and appreciation, and we only focus on the good sides. The bad sides are there, the red flags are there, but we only see the good, right? So just start with this, and then I'll come with more advanced tips. But basically, this is it. This is it. The way you see yourself in the relationship, the way you see your partner, mostly the way you see your partner, and what you believe about relationships in general. And if you only see divorces around you, if you only see bad relationships, and if you only read articles about narcissists and toxic relationships and men are cheaters and stuff like that, that's what you will see. That's what you will create in your life. This is not law of attraction. This is psychology in work, right? Like, this is simple psychology. You will act in ways that the other person will show you exactly what you think about them, exactly what you think about relationships in general, or you will simply attract those kinds of situations until you like heal yourself, right? Like heal yourself from those beliefs about you, about others, about relationships in general. So it takes awareness. Yes, it takes awareness. It takes educating yourself and educating yourself on the right things. That doesn't mean to read all the psychology books and put negative labels on people. If you're not a psychologist, don't put labels on people like toxic, narcissist, codependent. Don't use this. Don't use this kind of words that are meant to be used and in very secret containers, like in therapy sessions, and only with the person who has this problem, right? So don't try to read all the bad things and label people in all the negative ways. The more you do this, the more it will come back to you, the more it will show to you. The more you focus on bringing, like seeing the good part in people, that's what they will show you. That's why we see people who, for example, their partner label as narcissist and toxic, and they are simply great with everyone else, right? So if that person is great with everyone else but not with you, it means you are participating somehow in that dynamic, right? If it's a person who's toxic with everyone else, then it is what it is. Maybe you want to remove yourself from that situation, right? But mostly it's not like that, right? Okay, have a good day. Bye-bye.